Guess what I finally found? Rain-X. Been looking for a week now. 2 weeks. Almost. Alright, I'm gonna get this stuff installed on this windshield and then sit here for another 19 hours. Fun stuff. Alright, we'll do a little test pass. Looks good. So the water just kind of falls off. The little beads will just roll off when you're going down the road. We're rolling down the windshield now. I left the other side undone. In fact, you can actually see that's where the focus, see how it's stuck to the window? And over here, just beads up. Now, I've heard people complain that it leaves a film. Only if, yeah, it's supposed to leave a film, but it's not a visible film unless you just didn't apply it correctly. So you got to get a good layer on it, let it haze over, and then buff it clear. And I do that 2 or 3 times to make sure there's a good, every inch is covered. Now, whoever was in this truck before me really liked to freaking tailgate people. There are dozens of little rock chips in the windshield. Now that happens over time, but this truck's only got 300,000 miles on it, and I've driven trucks for 500,000 miles and not seen windshields like this. I'll mention it to Schuster. It's not a huge problem, other than it's just annoying that I can't have a clear windshield. It's like hazy because of how bad it is, how many chips. There's probably hundreds of little chips, but there's a couple of big ones. And now that I wet the windshield, it's not going to be easy to see. Let's see if I can get rid of most of that. Yeah, good old Rain-X. One little swipe and it's all gone. Doesn't leave a streak or anything. But yeah, I'll try to show you. Oop, don't get away. It's going to be hard to see on the camera. You're not going to be able to see it. You guys see how bad it looks at night when somebody shines their light at the windshield, right? All those little dots. I thought it was partially because of the bugs and stuff sticking to it, but no, I think it is actually, dude, you don't have to hit the throttle full throttle every time you let off the clutch, buddy. Tell me you're not backing up next to me. All right, before he starts backing up, I'm scooting over because this dude does not drive for crap and I don't want to get hit. Okay. Yeah. I left the other side undone so I can show you the difference when I'm washing the bugs off. Next time I'm washing the bugs, I'll show you guys how much crazy easier it is with the Rain-X. Sorry about that haze there. Oh. It's supposed to storm at some point. Maybe I get to show you a direct comparison. But yeah, I was disappointed with just how horribly chipped this windshield is. Like in one little square. Like I'll do a circle this big and I'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. Over 30 little rock chips in a circle that big. Like I say, I'll complain to them I don't know whether or not they'll change the windshield because of little rock chips or not. But I know if it was my truck and I was paying for it, I would. A couple $100 to not be blinded every time a light hits the windshield. But I understand why somebody wouldn't want to spend that much money on a windshield that is legal to drive with. There's a pretty sizable chip on the passenger side. It's not illegal yet, but it won't take much. If that thing starts to crack, we'll have to replace it because there are laws. There's laws for everybody, but it's really strict on trucks. It's like no bigger than a dime and no cracks. Like, you can have rock chips, but they can be no bigger than a dime, and you can have no cracks leaving from it. And right now there's not, but if it starts to crack, they'll have to do something about it. I want to try to see if I can sneak through Rhode Island to get to Manchester, because I've never been to Rhode Island, and that would be one state off the list. And then all I'd have left is Maine and Montana. For some reason, somehow, I've never been to Montana. I've been to Oregon, Washington, and Idaho, but I've never been to Montana. And North Dakota and South Dakota, right? So, just somehow, always went around Montana. Just how it worked out for some reason. And then I've been to all lower 48. My last video is still trying to upload. Like 17 hours. It's been trying to upload. I had planned on stopping and getting some fuel in the reefer tank on my way down to where I'm going. I'm glad that thing's wrong because it says 4 hours. I don't need 4 hours to do 222 miles. But I am running behind. I just did not wake up this morning. As soon as this thing builds up pressure and gets air, though, I'll head that way. I think I'll be on time still. My appointment's at 6, so that should be fine. 222 miles. It's not a 4-hour drive. Should be. It's mostly I-90 too. So. big hole in the wall. That's where the dock doors are. See the trailers out to the edge of the wall there. That's the space we had to back up in. It's not the best. Seems like a really interesting choice. I am trying to look. I don't think I actually have the freaking hours to do this next load. And it's a 2-hour drive. Let's see. If they had parking, that'd be one thing. Made it here, 20 minutes to spare. And I have 3 hours and 20 minutes. It'll be more like 3 hours when I'm done here. I gotta figure out where I park around there. Video finally uploaded. I'm not gonna get to go through Rhode Island like I was hoping to. I could make it that my route, but it's gonna add like 30 minutes. Not 30 miles, just 30 minutes. Because I gotta go through Boston and Providence to do that. So I'm not gonna be able to do that. So who knows if I'll ever have to get to go through Rhode Island. I might have to get a load going to Providence or somewhere close to actually get to Rhode Island. Or if I just had time. I have 3.5 hours on my clock. And it's a 2-hour drive to get to Manchester. And then I gotta try to find somewhere to park, which is gonna be a nightmare. On the East Coast, running out of time. When they get up here, or when they get to the office, I mean, it's only 5 a.m. there, so. Speaking of how early it is, good Lord, I could never get used to the fact that the sun comes up here at 4:30 in the morning. In the summertime, I guess. That was crazy. I was not expecting to start seeing daylight at 4:30, but it happened. Anyway, I guess I'm just waiting here. I don't know how long it'll be. They got a whole lot full of people. I don't know if they can go by appointment or first come, first serve. I don't know. I guess I could have gotten here an hour earlier, but I don't know if it would have helped because they start taking loads at 5. It says they stop at noon, so I guess I won't be here any longer than the next 6 hours. Noticing all the trucks that are getting called up, they're going around the building. I think most of us, there's exterior docks on the other side. I think that's where we usually go. time I have left. I'm trying to convince them that I can't pick up this load today. Like, it's another 45-minute drive down there. Let me double check that. Pretty sure it's like another 45 minutes to an hour, depending on traffic. Which would give me 45 minutes to pick up my load and find somewhere to park in Connecticut at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Apparently they won't. Yeah, it's 38 miles. So we'll call it 40 minutes. Maybe 45. And I gotta get fuel, which I have to do on duty. So that takes another 10 minutes. If I cheat the damn thing and make it look like it only took 10 minutes. So that'll leave me just under 50 minutes to get my load picked up, which I can do all that. I got to show 5 or 10 minutes on duty when I get there by law. We're talking 40 minutes, best case scenario, to get my load and find somewhere to park. And then even if I couldn't find a place to park and I had to use my off-duty time, I only have 46 miles and I'm in Connecticut. I'm not going to be able to find another place to park. They refuse to listen. I'm not going to get a log violation to go pick up the load. That's the deal. But we'll have to figure it out. I called him, he's busy because it's Monday. So I understand. But at this point, I'm not going to go pick up this load today. If I can't find somewhere to park and I've only got an hour and 45 minutes left, it's like we either need to reschedule it where I can go pick it up tomorrow morning or find me something different to do, because I can't do that with the hours I have. I just can't. Whatever. We'll figure it out. I've called the shipper like 5 times, and first 3 times it went to their voicemail system. Now they're picking the phone up and hanging up. So they won't answer the phone. I'm just going to have to call Jason back and say, dude, you're going to reschedule it or find me something else to do. I'm not going to go pick this load up if I can't pick it up in time. Don't have the time to do it. It's just nonsense, man. What we're doing now, I already switched trailers. I was on the phone. I wasn't thinking about YouTube. This guy's going to go pick up my load. I have to drive to his. I'm not going to steal this guy's parking space. He's about to pull out. I was going to wait for him, but this guy's pulling out. Made me miss my puppy. I'm gonna go get these bills from him and I'll be done. So somewhere around midnight tonight. I'll ask back to Iowa.
Oh, bummer. Nice, brand new, nice luck. I'm good. Yeah. I'm going to give you a shitty one. I was pretty cool with it. Ah, okay. All right. Yeah. I moved it one more hole. Okay. So it's kind of balanced if you're going to get it. Well, they said it weighs 43,000. No way, there's 43,000 in the box. All right, man. Thank you. Put my hair down for a while.
That dude's a character. Getting a little old. cramp in my jaw. Anyway, I'm gonna go lock this trailer up and then hit the sack for the day.
These are hands-on poppers. Well, you just gonna turn around there, bud. Oh, there's a pretty face.
This is the chillest husky I've ever seen in my life. I'm glad that worked out, because I finally just got to the point where I told him I couldn't do the load. You can see it's that's how much I have out of 70 hours. That when you drive 300 and something miles in a week. So told him I didn't have any time to go get it. They weren't going to do anything about it. Finally, I just told him best I can do is tomorrow morning when I have hours and they're open. 30 seconds later, he's calling me, well, we got another driver. He's got more time on his clock. He'll go get the load. I was like, good for him. Now, this load is going to Lamar's, where their terminal is. Pretty much the same amount of time on it as that last load had. It delivers on the 25th. Today's 22nd. So tomorrow, the next day, and then it delivers. So Monday, it's Tuesday, Wednesday, and delivers Thursday. There's 1,400 miles on it, so I'll have the rest of the weekend and get some good miles for the next week. Hopefully it works out that way. He said all the long loads come out of Lamar's, so either I'll get a good load or they'll try to get me to do a reset, or I mean, I have decent hours coming back every day until next Sunday. So there's no reason I couldn't do a good long haul. Just have to be doing night shift, because that's the only way to do recap and make any miles is you have to, you know, start the day with 5 or 6 hours left and roll into midnight where you get your hours back and you keep going. We'll see. Shitty thing about running out of hours on my 70s is that I wasn't really tired when I had to shut down. I was able to get like a 2-hour nap and just couldn't sleep anymore. I still have to wait another 5 hours before I can leave, because I only have an hour and a half on my clock. So when I woke up, I needed to sit 7 hours. Now it's 5.5. And then I have to drive all day, because I need to get my miles in so I can get close enough to my next stop that I can make it there on time. I got to get at least 500 miles in today, and then another 500 or 600 miles the next day, and then another 400 miles to get it in to deliver. So if I do anything less than 500 a day, I'm going to screw myself. So I woke up not needing rest anymore 7 hours before I needed to roll, and I still have to sit here until my clock comes back. Somehow it's about safety. I've made the claim a couple times to people that I truly think that the FMCA hours of service laws are designed to keep drivers on the road, not going home. Because to make a living out here, you have to spend weeks on the road. Where if I was allowed to drive as much as I wanted to, without fear of having to park in precarious places, and because I take the law seriously when it comes to parking and stuff. I don't park illegally. I make a point to not do that, to the point where it cuts into my pay sometimes, because I have to shut down a little early so I don't end up like these other idiots parked in the middle of everything illegally, or just being a nuisance to everyone, right? I mean, I know how irritated I get when I pull into a truck stop and you can barely squeeze through the aisles because there's 15 trucks parked at a truck stop that's full. So I make a point not to do that. But if you're keeping up with me at all, you know that there's, even this last week, there's 3 different days that I had to sit through a 10-hour break wide awake couldn't go to sleep. Where I could have got those miles in and got that previous load delivered 2 days early instead of a half a day early. Or I could have went and picked up this load this morning and got out of Connecticut before parking. Instead, we had to relay it. We had to get someone else to go pick up that load because I was out of time. And now I'm sitting here wide awake for another 7 hours. 5 hours now, but so instead of a 10-hour day, it's going to be a 17-hour day. Make that make sense. How does that make anybody safe? Now, what it does do is restrict how much money I can make. Because if I was allowed to drive the miles I want to drive, I'd be home every week with a pocket full of cash. Right? I go get 4,000 miles, go home for the weekend. 4,000 or 5,000 miles, go home for the weekend. But instead, running as hard as I can, running my clock dry, I barely got 3,300 miles.